Sing, O goddess, the rage of Achilles, son of Peleus, that fury which erupted when he quarreled with the son of Atreus, Agamemnon, king of men. This divine Achilles was filled with rage for the first time. But which of the gods caused this great conflict between them? It was Apollo, of course, the son of Leto and Zeus. This god grew angry with King Agamemnon and unleashed a deadly plague upon the Achaean army. Men were falling by the thousands, utterly struck down. All because Agamemnon, son of Atreus, had dishonored Chryses, the priest of Apollo. Chryses had come to the ships of the Hellenes, swift as the wind, bringing a ransom of immeasurable worth to retrieve his daughter. In his hands he held the ribbons of Apollo, the far shooter, and a golden staff. And so he begged to all the Achaeans, but especially the two sons of Atreus, commanders of men, with the following words:
Son of Atreus, and all you Achaeans with your fine armor, may the gods of Olympus grant you victory over the city of Troy and a safe return to your homes. But please, release my daughter. Accept this ransom. Honor the son of Zeus, Apollo, the far shooter.
Then all the other Achaeans approved of these words. They urged respect for the priest, and that the glorious ransom for Chryses' daughter be accepted. But this did not please the heart of Agamemnon, son of Atreus. The king of Mycenae harshly rejected the ransom, speaking with brutal scorn.
Let me not find you near our ships again, old man. Not with your staff, nor with the ribbons of your god. I will not release your daughter. No! Before that happens, she will grow old in my house, in Argos, far from her native land, weaving at the loom and warming my bed. Now go, do not provoke me. Leave while it is still safe for you.
Thus spoke Agamemnon, and old Chryses trembled with fear. He obeyed and walked in silence along the seashore, seething. When he had gone far enough, Chryses raised his hands in prayer to Apollo and said,
Hear me, Lord of the Silver Bow, protector of Chrysa and sacred Scylla, sovereign of Tenedos. O Smintheus, if ever I built you a temple, or burned the fat thighs of bulls and goats in your honor, then grant me this prayer. May the Achaeans pay for my tears with your arrows.
Thus spoke the old man, and the god Apollo heard him. He descended from Olympus, his heart ablaze with wrath. Upon his shoulders he carried his magnificent bow and the quiver that held his arrows, both shrouded in shadow. Apollo halted far from the ships, and from there loosed his first arrow. Terrible was the sound of the silver bow as it sang. First he struck the mules and the swift hounds, but soon he turned his deadly aim upon the Achaean men. The funeral pyres burned without end. For 9 days Apollo's arrows rained down upon the Greek army. On the 10th day, at last, Achilles called an assembly of the people, for he felt deep sorrow and compassion for the Achaeans, seeing them fall by the dozens. When all were gathered, swift-footed Achilles rose to speak, and turning to Agamemnon, he gave this warning.
Agamemnon, I believe we are being driven to return home in defeat, for both war and plague are destroying the Achaeans. But we must seek out a prophet, a priest, or an interpreter of dreams, since even dreams come from Zeus, to tell us why the god Apollo is so enraged. Was it some broken vow, or a sacrifice left unoffered? Perhaps, if we offer him perfect sheep or goats upon the altar, he may be appeased and lift this deadly plague from us.
Thus spoke Achilles, and then he sat down. Next, from among those gathered, Calchas, son of Nestor, rose to his feet. He was the greatest of seers by far. It was Calchas who had guided the Achaean ships to Ilium, thanks to the gift of prophecy granted to him by Apollo. And so, with good intent, he addressed the assembly with these words.
You command me, O Achilles, to reveal the cause of Apollo's wrath, the god who strikes from afar, and so I shall speak. But first, you must swear to protect me, for I know that my words will enrage Agamemnon, a powerful man, lord of the Argives, whom all the Achaeans obey. Truly, the anger of a king weighs heavier than that of an ordinary man. Even if Agamemnon restrains his fury for a day, I know that in time he will surely unleash the full force of his wrath upon me.
Take heart, Calchas, and reveal the prophecy you know. In the name of Apollo and all the Hellenes, as long as I live and behold the light of day, no one shall lay a heavy hand upon you. No one. Not even Agamemnon, who claims to be the noblest of all.
Very well, Achilles. Then I shall tell you. Apollo is enraged because Agamemnon refused to release the daughter of Chryses and would not accept his ransom. And so, the god who strikes from afar has brought these great misfortunes upon us. He will not lift this deadly plague from the Achaeans until the bright-eyed maiden is returned to her father, freely and without ransom. Only then will Apollo be appeased. We must persuade King Agamemnon to yield.
Then, in the midst of the assembly, Agamemnon, son of Atreus, rose, lord of great might. Fury flared within him. His heart swelled with dark anger, and his eyes burned like fire. Casting a grim look upon Calchas, Agamemnon spoke with scorn.
Prophet of doom, never have you spoken a word in my favor. It is always evil that your heart delights in proclaiming. Never, not once, have you uttered a favorable prophecy. Now, before all the Achaeans, you claim that this plague is my fault, because I refuse to give back the fair Chryseis. But know this, I desire her more than my own wife, Clytemnestra. She's in no way inferior in beauty, stature, wit, or skill. But even so, I will return her to her father, if that is what is best for our people. Let the army be spared as you wish, but you must prepare a reward for me in her place. I will not be the only Hellenic warrior left without a worthy prize.
Glorious son of Atreus, the greediest of all men, how can the noble Achaeans give you a prize now? There are no treasures stored in common halls. The spoils from the sacked cities have already been divided, and it would not be just to ask the people to give them back. Therefore you must return her, as the god commands, not as you wish. As for us, the Achaeans, we will repay you 3 or 4 times over, when Zeus grants us the sack of Troy, that city of high walls.
For all your bravery, divine Achilles, you will not deceive me, nor bend me to your will. What you truly want is to keep your own prize, while I am left without mine. Let me make this clear. If the noble Achaeans do not grant me a prize worthy, then I shall take one myself, be it from Ajax or Odysseus, or even from you, Achilles. I will take a prize and make it mine. Now, let us launch a sacred black ship upon the sea, gather oarsmen, prepare a hecatomb, and send aboard the fair-cheeked maiden, Chryseis. This, of course, so that the offering may appease the god who strikes from afar.
Covered in shame and ever greedy, what Achaean will still obey your commands, marching or fighting brave men under your leadership? I did not come here to battle the Trojans. They never wronged me. They never stole my cattle or my horses. Never laid waste to our fertile fields, land of men who live by grain. Between us lie many shadowy mountains and the roaring sea. No, it wasn't for the Trojans. It was for you, shameless king, that we came here, hoping to win honor for Menelaus, and for you too, you mad dog-faced man. But you never think of that, do you? You care for nothing but yourself. And now you threaten to take my prize, the one I earned with such effort, the one granted to me by the sons of the Achaeans. I never received spoils equal to yours when we sacked Trojan cities, though it is my hands that bear the brunt of savage combat. When it comes time to divide the plunder, it is you who takes the finest share, while I return to my ships, weary from war, with only a meager prize. But now, I will return to Phthia in Thessaly. It is far better to go home than to remain here dishonored, piling up riches for you.
Go then, if your heart compels you to flee. I do not ask you to stay on my account. There are others who honor me, above all Zeus, the great counselor. Of all the kings born of Zeus, you are the one I hate the most. You love conflict, war, and battle more than peace. If you are strong, it is only because a god made you so. Now go, sail back with your ships and your men, rule over the Myrmidons. I care nothing for you, nor for your anger. And let me say this plainly. Since Apollo is taking Thetis of the lovely hair from me, I will send her away on my own ship. But I shall go to your tent and take the young Briseis, your beautiful prize. Only then will you learn how much greater I am than you. And the others will learn to fear anyone who dares to treat me as an equal.
Thus spoke Agamemnon, and then a deep pain seized the heart of Achilles, and in his broad chest his thoughts were torn. Should he draw the sharp blade at his thigh and slay the son of Atreus? Or should he master his anger and restrain his fury? As he wrestled within himself in mind and spirit, and had already begun to draw his sword from its sheath, behold, Athena descended from the heavens. White-armed Hera had sent her, for she loved and cared for both men alike. Athena stood behind Achilles and seized his golden hair, while remaining visible only to him, unseen by the others. Achilles turned, astonished, and instantly recognized Pallas Athena, whose eyes shone with terrible light. And to her, he spoke winged words.
Why have you come here, goddess Athena, daughter of Zeus? Have you come to witness the arrogance of Atreus' son, Agamemnon? Then hear me now. That arrogance of his will soon bring about his death, whether you will it or not.
I have come to calm your fury, Achilles, if you will listen to me. White-armed Hera sent me down from the heights of Olympus, for she loves you both and holds you dear in her heart. Now stand down, do not raise your sword, and let me tell you how it shall be. In time, 3 times as many glorious gifts will be offered to you, all because of Agamemnon's arrogance. So hold your anger, restrain yourself, and obey the will of the gods.
Goddess, understand what you say. One must obey the word of the gods, even in the height of rage. He who listens to the gods is also heard by them.
Saying this, Achilles stilled his heavy hand upon the silver hilt and returned the great sword to its sheath. He did not defy the words of Athena. Then she rose and returned to Olympus, to the palace of Zeus. Yet Achilles once more unleashed fierce words against the son of Atreus without any restraint.
You are drunk with power. You have the eyes of a dog and the heart of a deer. Never do you dare face war yourself, nor enter the fight. You seize the prizes from those who truly battle. You rule over a people too afraid to stand against you, or this injustice would be your last. Here I swear a great oath by this scepter. I swear by the sons of the Achaeans that the day will come when the Hellens shall long for Achilles, and you will not be able to help them, no matter how you grieve, as they fall on the hills beneath the spear of Hector, Prince of Troy.
Thus spoke Achilles. But then Nestor, the king of Pylos, rose in the midst of the crowd, and to the assembly he offered these words of wise counsel.
What great sorrow has fallen upon the Hellenic people! How the Trojans would rejoice, how the sons of Priam would laugh if they saw you quarreling so. Hear me then. You are both younger than I, and I have known men far greater than you, and even they heeded my counsel. So listen now. It is better to hear wisdom than to mourn regret. I did not come to fight at Troy for my own sake, nor have the Trojans wronged me. I came for the honor of Menelaus, and for you, Agamemnon, shameless king. And so, son of Atreus, you must not take Briseis from Achilles. And you, Achilles, do not dishonor your king. Let kings rule with justice, and let their power be respected. You are a great warrior, nearly a god, born of a goddess. But Agamemnon holds royal authority, granted by Zeus himself. You both have your worth and must act together. Strength and leadership must walk hand in hand. May the gods keep us from losing Achilles, the pride of Greece and our mightiest defender.
All that you have said, old man, was fair enough. But this, Achilles always wants to stand above the rest. He wants to dominate all, rule over all, and command all. If the gods have made him a warrior forever, then perhaps it is they who feed his arrogance.
Call me a coward and a nothing, if I obey your every command. Give orders to others, but never think you can command me. I will obey you no longer, never again. And I say this, if you so much as lay a hand on anything that is mine, anything aboard my swift, black ship, you will take nothing unless I allow it. And if you try, let all here be witness. Your dark blood will swiftly flow from the tip of my spear.
And so, after hurling harsh words at one another, the assembly broke apart and scattered to the ships of the Achaeans. The son of Peleus returned to his tents and ships, with Patroclus, son of Meneuetius, at his side. Meanwhile, Agamemnon launched a swift ship upon the sea, manned it with 20 oarsmen, and placed aboard the fair Chryseis. At the same time, he appointed Odysseus as commander of the vessel. Once embarked, they set out upon the pathways of the sea. But before all this, the son of Atreus ordered the army to purify itself. So they did, and offered bulls and goats in sacrifice to Apollo. The fragrance of the offerings rose up to the heavens. Still burning with anger toward Achilles, Agamemnon summoned Talthybius and Eurybates, his trusted heralds, and said to them,
"You two, go now to the tent of Achilles and bring back Briseis of the lovely cheeks by the hand. If he refuses to surrender her, I myself will go and take her, with many more men at my side. It will be far worse for him."
Thus speaking, Agamemnon dismissed them. The two men walked reluctantly along the shore until they reached the tents and ships of the Myrmidons, the people of Achilles. They found the warrior seated before his tent, and he felt no joy at their arrival. They stood there in silence, afraid, unable to speak. But Achilles knew well why they had come, and he was the first to speak.
Welcome, heralds, messengers of Zeus and of men. Come forward. You are not to blame for this, but Agamemnon, who sends you here to take Briseis, the young woman who is my prize. So be it. Patroclus, please, bring the maiden and give her to these two, and let them be witnesses before the blessed gods and mortal men that Agamemnon rages blindly, driven by dark desire, unable to see what is just.
Thus spoke Achilles, and Patroclus obeyed his dear companion, bringing forth Briseis of the lovely cheeks from the tent and handing her over to be taken away. They returned to the ships of the Achaeans, and the woman followed them unwillingly. But Achilles, in anguish, was overcome with tears. He withdrew from his companions and sat alone by the shore of the gray sea, gazing out over the wine-dark waves. Then, stretching out his arms, he prayed with deep devotion to his beloved mother.
Mother, since you gave me a life so short in years, surely Olympus should also have granted me honor. Honor from Zeus, who thunders on high. But now, not even Zeus grants me anything. The son of Atreus, Agamemnon, mighty in power, has shamed me. He took my prize, stolen through his arrogance.
Thus spoke Achilles in tears, and his noble mother heard him from the depths of the sea, where she sat beside her ancient father. Swift as mist, she rose from the gray waves and sat before her son, gently caressing his face as he wept. Then she called him by name and asked why he was grieving. And Achilles answered, recounting the full tale of all that had passed between him, Agamemnon, Chryses, and Briseis. Afterward, he sighed deeply and made the following request to his mother.
Mother, if you truly have the power, protect your son. Go up to Olympus and plead with Zeus on my behalf. Please, Mother, ask Zeus to grant victory and dominance to the Trojans over our own Hellenic army, so that Agamemnon may be punished and come to see his folly.
Ah, my son, why did I ever give you life if you were destined for sorrow? Why did I raise you only to see you suffer? How I wish I could see you sitting by the ships, free from tears and pain. For your life is brief, without long days. Now your fate comes swiftly, and you will die before all others. For such a cruel fate I bore you in the halls of our home. But I myself will go to Olympus and speak with Zeus, the Lord of Thunder. Perhaps he will hear me. But you, my son, remain by your swift ships in your anger. Do not fight alongside the Achaeans. Stay away from the war. Zeus has gone to Oceanus, to a banquet with the blameless Ethiopians, and with him have gone all the other gods. But on the 12th day he will return to Olympus, Then I will go to him in his bronze hall and make my plea. I believe I can persuade him.
Having said this, she left him where he sat. Meanwhile, Odysseus arrived at Chryse, bringing a sacred hecatomb. When they reached the harbor of deep waters, they furled the sail and stowed it within the dark ship, quickly lowered the mast with its rigging, and rowed with oars to the anchorage. Then they disembarked and walked along the shore, bringing the hecatomb for Apollo, the god who strikes from afar. They led the young Chryses from the ship, and Odysseus, master of many wiles, took her by the hand and placed her into her father's arms, saying,
Chryses, Agamemnon, Lord of Men, has sent me to return your daughter to you and to offer a sacred hecatomb to Apollo on behalf of the Achaeans. May the god be appeased and lift the plague he has cast upon the Achaeans.
Thus he spoke, and placed the young woman in her father's arms. With joy, the old man welcomed his beloved daughter. Then they prepared the sacred offerings around the well-built altar of the god. They washed their hands, took the sacred barley grain, and Chryses raised his hands and prayed aloud, pleading with Apollo to end the plague. Thus he prayed, and Apollo heard him. Afterwards, Odysseus and the crew of the Achaeans performed the sacrifice, offering food and wine to Apollo, and then shared a great feast together. When they had eaten and drunk their fill, the young men poured wine for all and sang hymns in honor of Apollo. The god listened, pleased with their voices. When the sun set and night fell, all lay down to sleep beside their ships. And when rosy-fingered dawn appeared, they set sail to return to the vast Achaean camp. Apollo, the far shooter, granted them a favorable wind. They raised the mast and hoisted the white sails. The wind blew strong, and the waves danced around the swift ship as it cut through the sea. When they reached the broad camp of the Achaeans, they drew the black ship onto the shore and propped it up on the sand. Then each man returned to his own tent and ship. But in his wrath, Achilles remained by his swift ships. He refused to go to the assembly or take part in the war. And so, Thetis, remembering her son's request, rose from the sea beneath a veil of mist and ascended to the heavens. On the highest peak of Olympus, she sat beside Zeus. With her left hand she clasped his knees, and with her right she held his chin. And with a pleading voice she spoke to sovereign Zeus.
Father Zeus, if ever among the immortals I aided you in word or deed, grant me this one request. Honor my son, the one fated above all to live a brief life. Now Agamemnon, Lord of Men, has dishonored him, arrogantly seizing the prize that was rightfully his. Grant him justice, O Olympian Zeus, divine counselor. Let the Trojans prevail until the Achaeans restore my son's honor and reward him with the glory he deserves.
Hard is the task you ask of me, Thetis. Hera, my wife, will provoke me with harsh words. Among the immortal gods, she is always reproaching me, claiming that I favor the Trojans in this war. Now go, leave me for now, so that Hera does not see this and stir up further discord. I will consider how best to fulfill what you have asked of me.
Thus spoke Zeus, son of Cronos, nodding with his dark blue brows. After that, the gods returned to their halls. Hera descended from radiant Olympus down to the sea. Zeus entered his palace, and all the gods rose in respect at his approach. None dared remain seated. He sat upon his throne, but Hera had seen everything. How silver-footed Thetis had spoken with Zeus, and with biting words she turned to her husband, Zeus, full of suspicion toward them both.
Which of the gods, master of deceit, has now conspired with you? You always delight in keeping secrets from me. You make your decisions in secret, hidden from your wife. You never reveal your thoughts or intentions to me.
Hera, do not expect to know all my thoughts. Not even you, my wife, could endure them all. All that must be known to you, none shall conceal, whether mortal or divine. But as for what I choose to keep in secret, do not ask and do not seek to know.
Dread son of Kronos, what words are these you speak? In the past, I have never questioned you, never interfered. I let you plan whatever you desired freely. But now fear grips me. I fear that Thetis of the silver feet, daughter of the old man of the sea, has swayed your heart. For I saw her clasp your knees, and I suspect you nodded in assent to honor Achilles and let many Achaeans die.
You, witch, you always imagine things. Nothing escapes you, but this will get you nowhere. And the more you provoke me, the further my heart will drift from you. That would be far worse for you. But if it is my will to grant this, then so be it. Now sit quietly, and do not provoke the gods on Olympus, or they may not help you when I come to act, and you cannot resist my power.
Then Hera, still suspicious that Zeus had favored the Trojans on behalf of Thetis, fell silent among the gods. Hephaestus, the god of fire and craftsmanship, tries to calm the situation. He reminds his mother Hera that a quarrel with Zeus would bring chaos to Olympus, and recalls a time Zeus punished him severely for interfering. And so, all day long, until the sun sank low, they feasted well, with their hearts content. Apollo played his lyre, golden and clear, and the muses sang in sweet reply. When the last light of day had faded, each god returned to his shining home, crafted by Hephaestus, the great smith, mighty in arm and gifted in art. And Zeus, the lord of lightning, went to his bed. The bed he knew well, where gentle sleep came. There he lay beside Hera of the golden throne,